run it where you have a group of principals? I know you had the picture up there. I couldn't see it from this far distance. Say like 5 or 6 of you that kind of split the proceeds of all the projects, and you pay salaries to your contractors. Is that how that works?
Well, on the contractor base, I never want a contractor on my payroll as far as an employee. Number one, it keeps us honest, because a lot of investors will say, yeah, you're working you're making so much money on the readout. We don't want to make money on the readout. So we have third-party companies come in and do the work. So we do separate it. Where we do pay out money on a regular basis is for our project managers who manage the transactions. We pay out fees, outsource, if you will, to the local agents, wholesalers, and other sources for inventory, which is third. And really, what we do is just have the only other thing we just recently added was that designer. And it's more like consultants, really, more than anything. So we just pay for every house, and it's flat fee. So we just come in and keep going that way. Anybody else?
Does your contractor provide the architect to design the plans? Like, if you're going to knock this wall out, we're going to open up this room. I mean, isn't that required by your permits?
Yes, sometimes. Like I said, if it's anything that's structural, yes. There's a property in Compton that we just bought. When I say Compton, we're like, oh no. But what's even funnier about that is I didn't realize that Tupac used to hang out at that house. And it's famous for it. I have no idea. But one of the producers owned it. So anyway, and the reason I thought about that because we went there and the owners, the guy foreclosed on the property, blah, blah, blah. And the neighbors said, oh, do you know whose house this was? This was the party house. Tupac used to hang out here. And I'm like, what? We have a Tupac house. You know you bought a hood house. But anyway, all joking aside, that one had an issue. The issue was we had to get certain permits because we were going to open it up, but it was affecting the structural elements of the house. So we got permits for that. Then when the inspector came in, which we knew that was going to happen, but it kind of stinks. Most houses there, the garage is separated from the house. And this house, when Tupac's cousin did it, they connected it to the house without permits. So we had to literally knock down a whole wall to separate it and then rebuild a piece and put a part of the roof. So they might as well replace the whole roof on the garage. So that cost about $5,000 more than we were anticipating. But the ROI is still there, so I mean we're still okay with it. But that was an extra thing.
So the architect was, you had to go out and find an architect too, or the contractor?
Our contractor has that already in place, and so they just drew it up, came back, said here's our proposition for what we think, the most inexpensive, but yet up to code. So they dealt with all of that. So yeah, it happens sometimes. Another thing we do also before we close, and you brought a point that I was going to say, and you'll talk to the attorney about this too today, and that is that we also, for every house we buy, we search to make sure that there are no open permits before we close, because those can be very costly.
Wow.
So we make sure there are no open permits prior to, because it will make you fix it. And it costs more to fix something somebody screwed up. Go ahead.
And you do especially check on code violations before you close too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can get red flagged the moment you buy.
No, you can get red flagged at the closing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I was at the closing, and there was $27,800 worth of fines for code violations, growing at $250 a day, and the bank just pulled the property back. This was less than 30 days ago.
Yep.
And this, I had done all my due diligence, and then when I looked up the property, I said, violation.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I called up code enforcement. I said, what do you got on this house at 1839 Brookfield? Oh, that baby with the swimming pool problems and the garage door problems. And I said, can we work out a solution so that I can buy this from the bank? And they said, well, what do you got in mind? I said, well, look, give me 90 days and I'll fix all of that, but I want it in writing that you will forgive the $27,000 worth of fines and let me off the hook. They said, we'll do that for you, but somebody's going to pay us $700 in legal fees. I said, that's up to the bank. You deal with them because I don't own it yet.
Right, exactly.
But I would have paid the $700.
Yeah, we got you right. Yeah, absolutely.
But the bank pulled it back, put it in a legal department, so we won't see that for another 6 or 8 months.
Banks do that.